Biggest storyline for Tennessee athletics this summer, not just football, but anything. And these were the four I came up with. Harbin, if you've got another one, feel free to chime in. The four are the Tennessee football quarterback competition. The next one, Zakai Ziegler's lawsuit against the NCAA. The next one, the Adidas Nike contract. And finally, I put in here baseball portal additions and subtractions. There was probably something else I could have put in here, but those were the four I felt like were the biggest topics heading into the summer. Usually, when you head into the summer after baseball is over, it's football, football, football. But I feel like this year, for whatever reason, maybe it's because we're winning so much and everything, is there's a lot more to talk about across the entire athletics department. But is there anything else that's a big topic we you think we need to put on there?
Uh, Maybe football schedule. We're starting to get some start times and some start areas for the football season. Also, something that you didn't mention in the intro is lady vol basketball team.
Yes.
Uh,
Again, I keep forgetting the ladies, Harbin.
About the fourth time you've done it over the last couple months, which is very
Sad
yeah.
and disappointing.
If I'm the one bringing them up, we got a problem.
It's bad. I
Uh,
apologize, ladies.
but we have what the number is it number two recruiting class in the country
Believe so, yes.
coming in. They're coming off a pretty good year. Excited to see what Coach Caldwell can do with these young ladies. Yeah, I guess it's the main one.
So, out of all those, in your opinion, in your humble opinion, what would be the biggest storyline heading into this summer?
Oh, it's without a doubt the quarterback room and football schedule. It's still football season. I mean, let's not pretend like it's not. I mean, we do have more to talk about than usual, but it's football, football, football. Like Zakat, like I'll put it in these terms. In July or August, Zakai Ziegler could win. Uh, he could win his lawsuit, and if Joey Aguilar gets named the starter the same day, that'll be the front page news. I could be wrong on that. I mean, that's no knock on Zakai Ziegler, but August is football season.
It is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Now, Zakai Ziegler may be more national news because that opens a huge wormhole for all athletes in college. And I've firmly planted my flag where I stand on that. Selfishly, would I love to have him back? 1,000%. Love that dude. He's one of my favorites to ever play Tennessee basketball. But just for the sake of college athletics, I hope he loses. I mean, we're going to have 28-year-olds playing college sports, and nobody wants to see that. Um, Again, love the guy. I would love to have him on campus for 15 years. I'd like for him to be 38 being our point guard. But
Yeah.
it's just the nature of college athletics. You love them for a little under half a decade, and then you continue to love them after that while they're not wearing orange, unless they come back and coach. This is what it is. Um, but going back to the quarterback thing, for a while I thought it was going to be Merklinger, at least for the first couple games. The more I'm hearing, it's kind of Aguilar's to lose, ain't it?
That's
That's
what
the way it
it's
seems.
it's what it sounds. I mean, if you listen to different podcasts, read different insiders, it seems like they're putting all their eggs in the they are, I'm not saying the coaches, all their eggs in the Aguilar basket.
Yeah, and I think it's more of a toss up than what people are saying. Because Merklinger's been under the system for a year. He's obviously got talent. The one that nobody's talking about, which is kind of surprising, is McIntyre, which you would imagine I, I don't know what they're doing. And that's fine. I'm not pretending to know like I know things. I know some things, but not when it comes to the quarterback room. It's looking like it's going to be Aguilar's. And John Reed on Fan Run made a very good point today. I saw a video of it. I'll send it to you later. He's just already penciling in Aguilar as a starter. And he was like, look, Cody asked him if Aguilar was a top 25 quarterback in the country. He said, it doesn't matter where you rank him. He said, he just needs to be fun. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. And he kind of went on more. He was like, look, like if you're worried about replacing the quarterback production from last year, it's not very hard to replace 2,600 yards and 19 touchdowns. And I'm not flipping the script. I did love the guy, but we were very honest about him throughout the season. And I'm not doing the flip flop thing now that he burned us like Judas, but it's the truth. And he went as far to say probably any quarterback in the SEC could come in and put up 2,600 yards and 19 touchdowns. And honestly, when you look at it that way, I kind of agree with him. One thing about Aguilar is he's gonna take his chances, and he's gonna throw it downfield. He's gonna throw a couple more interceptions, but I think we can live with that if we go back to our old ways of putting up 40 a game. He's pretty accurate on the deep ball. I'm not writing off Merklinger. I think he can do that too. And John Reed also made a good point. He was like, Heupel's system protects quarterbacks from throwing picks. Obviously, you're going to throw a few. That's just going to happen. But the way it's set up is it kind of protects you from doing that.
True.
Yeah. And the final point he made was, he's like, let's get back to overpowering and outclassing the teams that you're better than. And we didn't do that last year, especially in the Arkansas game.
No.
So we got carried by defense, and Dylan Sampson was our savior on offense. So let's get back to hitting a couple deep balls and being fun. And I really think that we can be just as good as we were last year with competent quarterback play. Maybe even a hair better. I know some people are going to call me crazy for that, but we went 10-2 with 1,900 yards or 2,600 yards and 19 touchdowns. That's not very hard. That's not a very high bar to jump back over.
For the sake of the podcast or for the sake of content, I do agree with you that obviously the quarterback competition is probably the biggest story of the summer because Tennessee's a football school, even though we're really good at a lot of other sports. But you bring 100 plus thousand to a stadium and probably 20,000 more to tailgate and every Saturday that you're at home, that's a big deal. So the quarterback competition is probably top headline news. But this is a Kai Ziegler lawsuit is fascinating to me because if he wins, and they've already pretty much come out, I think his lawyers said in their first preliminary hearing that if he is ruled eligible, that Tennessee's told him he's got a spot and he doesn't want to go anywhere else but Tennessee. So if he comes back, if he's ruled eligible and able to come back, and he comes back to Tennessee, I think this takes Tennessee from one of those. They're a top four team in the SEC, probably an SEC championship contender. I think right now they're probably a Sweet 16 contender, maybe a fringe outside Elite Eight contender. I don't know that they've got the scoring right this second. I may change my tone as the season goes along next fall and winter. I just think they're probably a player short of getting to the Final Four. But if Zakai Ziegler comes back, that changes the whole thing. They are top one or two or three in the SEC. They are a legit Elite Eight slash Final Four contender with him in the lineup, in my opinion. So I think this is a huge ruling. again, we've talked about it. I'm so torn here, Hard, because I think you're right. At some point, you got to move on and go pro in something, whether it's in sports or not. But I'm I'm really want Zakai Ziegler to come back because I love watching him play basketball, and he makes this team a legit in my opinion, he makes them a legit Final Four contender. Um, that's my big story of the offseason. Obviously, I think the quarterback competition will get a lot more chatter and headlines, but that Zakai Ziegler lawsuit is a big deal. And if he doesn't win it, then we got to see Zakai Ziegler for 4 years, and we were blessed to do that. But if he wins it, we get one more with him, and we can make a legit run. Hopefully, at another SEC title and a national title. The other two things I put on here, the Adidas Nike contract, that should probably it'll garner some headlines when it ever comes out, which I think it could within the next month. But it'll be kind of it's here for a few days and then people stop talking about it until next year when Adidas starts releasing stuff. The baseball portal additions and subtractions, that's another one that people will talk about for a few moments and then it'll vanish off because that's the third sport away. You got football and basketball before then. You'll hear a little chatter about it this fall when when they have fall practice and make their tour around the state. But um, I think that there's a couple other things I noticed that Thompson Bowling social media has been tweeting. They're putting up the new center hung scoreboard. That's something to pay attention to this summer. So when you go into Thompson Bowling this fall for basketball, there'll be a brand new center hung scoreboard in there. They're redoing some of the club level seats down low. That's a big deal. The baseball stadium construction, they can really get after it now. Baseball season's over. There's nothing going on at the stadium. They can finish what they started this time last year. And next year, when we walk in Lindsey Nelson in March, the stadium hopefully will be mostly complete. I'm sure they'll still have, some other things to do in the next phase, but this phase should be complete by next year. But I think those two stories, the quarterback competition and the Zakai Ziegler lawsuit, are two things that are going to be talked about most this summer.